Good morning, everybody, or if it's afternoon when you're listening to this, this is Tracy Brown, and welcome. I'm wearing my favorite fuzzy fleece. It's not cold, but it's cool and windy today, and this is the first cool day, honestly. I don't want to say of 2017, but it feels like it's been so long since it's been below 80. I can't tell you. Most people would not complain about that. I'm not totally complaining. I'm happy. But finally having a little breeze of coolness reminds me that, oh my gosh, it's October. And I don't every year have nostalgia about those times when it's get worse before it gets better kind of thing. That's kind of where I was 20 years. Gosh, yeah, 20 years ago. Now this time of year. When my stuff with food was, restricting and binging, all it was just pretty feeling out of control, and I felt pretty lost. And so it just reminds me a little bit. So that's what I want to share today is, I guess I'm sharing a little bit of the end story first, is that what the beautiful thing is around making peace with food and learning how to transfer all those tools and skills in what you learned in that process with food, you get to apply that to the rest of your life. So that means that you don't have to feel charged up emotionally and in your body about the memories of everything you've ever been through. You can have memories like, oh, the breeze makes me feel like fall, which makes me think, oh my gosh, remember 20 years ago when that stuff was at its worst? And when I got serious about, making changes, yeah, it reminds me of that. But I don't feel sad. I don't feel anxious. I just feel, yeah, remember that. And so it's just a message of hope that you can feel that way. And it doesn't mean it didn't take me years. And I want to say that as a remembrance of, if you've just started any kind of recovery process from restricting, binge eating, whatever, and or if you're in the beginning months of intuitive eating, know that you're in it at the beginning, and that sometimes it's going to feel worse before it feels better, and doesn't necessarily mean anything's wrong. Now, I'm always a huge fan of assessing, are you getting what you need from the level of support you have, or is it the right fit? You need to be always kind of like, okay, is this going good? How's this feeling? Even if it doesn't feel good, do I feel like I'm getting what I need? Do I need more? What's going on? Do I need something different? Always keep assessing that. And obviously the other end is always trust the people that want to help you, because, they do, and they're in it. So yeah, if you've been at this 3 months or 6 months and you feel like, oh, is this working? What's it supposed to look like? If you're still doing it 3 to 6 months, then you've already made some progress to be able to look back. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to feel bad. It's just that, we definitely are used to, immediate results. I mean, I felt the same way too, but I think that's even hastened in this information heavy world we live in. So I remember I didn't really have a lot of outside, here's the internet, here's books. I mean, I had a few books, and I had my team and my family and a few friends, but not many of them really spoke the language of, definitely not intuitive eating. I mean, some people were natural eaters, but they just ate, and I just tried to mirror that. But yeah, I think that we do have a lot more support than we do. And I think that makes us feel like that we, in terms of audio, visual, whatever, that it should be going faster. But I want you to remember that your body time is slower than our cognitive time. So it can take some time for our bodies to catch up to what it is that we're taking in and absorbing. And I think it's all great. I do think probably people are going to see improvements sooner than maybe we would have in the past, and that can be good or that can be neutral, whatever. But I still want to remind you all, perspective of, there is a lot that's unwiring and rewiring in your body and in your mind, and it takes some time. And it's going to change your life, which it takes some time for your life to change around you. So I just want to put all that out there to you, that from start to, finish, quote unquote, with food stuff, it took me 7 years. So to go from being chronically on a diet to 3 months later, 6 months later, thinking that like I should have this down, I should have it figured out, and I shouldn't care at all what the culture thinks about my body, and none of it should bother me or make me angry. It's definitely not realistic. I think it takes at least a couple years minimum. Some people might take you 10 years. It doesn't mean that it's going too slow or it's a waste of time or whatever. It just means it takes what it takes. And just want to encourage you all about that today, that it takes what it takes. And you just got to keep going, because you really don't have an alternative. And I tend to look at it as like, sometimes if you really, really hate what you're doing, you can always go back to what you're doing. And I know that sometimes that can lessen the anxiety for people, and that's a really good way to look at it and a strategy. And sometimes what you might need is kind of a burning the boat strategy, or burning the bridge, like I'm done, I'm not going back. And that puts you in daily focus as well. So there's lots of different ways to look at what it is you're doing. And I think a lot of you are in this probably somewhere in doing both of those, and that's great. You have to use what you need to use to keep moving forward. So this is just a reminder of like, yeah, it might feel hard right now, but don't give up. Keep going. This process is totally worth it, even if it feels uncomfortable or bad, or I want to push it away and just go back to what I'm used to. Just remember that it's a jail cell with the door open. And you don't have to live like that. So anyway, just want to give like a little hopeful message today. Nothing maybe earth-shattering, but that just felt like what needed to be said today. So I've got some good stuff coming up for this week I want to talk about for sure around when it feels like you're binging, when it feels like you're eating too much. For today, just this message. Tomorrow I'll probably do that, because those two things came up for me today. I'm like, I think we need some just encouragement. Keep going. And if you just keep assessing and keep looking at like what you feel like you need and what's, best for you. And if you don't feel like ask somebody, contact me. What do I need? Like, this is a certain level of care I need, or am I doing great and I just need to keep going, or whatever. Ask somebody, ask people who already know. And like I said, don't give up. All right. Talk to you all soon. Thanks. Bye.